Well, we're making a little progress on the new idea. Got the cart apart, wheels blasted, a lot of the small parts blasted here, and nuts and bolts cleaned up. And here's the bolster and the rear castings for the back end of the cart. There's the small pulley. Here's the large pulley. And got the muffler apart. I've been trying to get the muffler off. Let me take you over there. Yeah, I'll let you look here. Starting to get the paint off of it. Just what I've been doing is just taking a scraper and just scraping. A couple hours, here and there, working on it, scraping, and paint's coming off pretty easy. Here is the wheels so far. They are coming out pretty good. On the back side is more of the original green color, but it's a slow process. Talking about the muffler, I decided I wanted to get the muffler off of it and get it where I can take the muffler off if I want to. I like to have everything serviceable on an engine, and boy, this thing is really stuck. I've had pipe wrenches in here. I've had this thing glowing red hot with the torch. I didn't want to get a lot of heat on the cylinder head for the purposes of saving the head gasket, and also the valve. The valve's in there, and I don't want to get a lot of heat on there. So I've been thinking about how I can remove this muffler safely. One thing I can always do is take a hacksaw and cut it off, and then take a chisel and remove the nipple here from inside the head and inside the muffler. I don't know if you can see in here or not. Let me see. I don't know if you can. There's not enough light in there, but anyway, this nipple is rusted pretty thin, so I've come up with a plan to try to get it broken loose without breaking any casting. So I've been soaking it a little bit with Croil, and let me show you what I've come up with. I've decided if I can squeeze a little bit on this and put some pressure on it, I might be able to squeeze it loose, since it's rusted pretty thin. Squeeze it loose from the threads. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. This pipe is 1.5 inches in diameter, so it's just a little big to try to squeeze on with a pair of channel locks, or a pair of ice grips, even a large C-clamp. I've got some fairly big C-clamps, and they're not strong enough to crush that piece. So what I've done is I've got a ball joint press here, and what I'm going to do is it's capable of putting a lot of pressure on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to rig it up on there. Let me show you what's going on here. Get it out here. It's just a super heavy-duty C-clamp is all it is. It's got all these adapters, when you go to press out a ball joint on your vehicle. So it's got all this stuff, but I wanted to make an adapter for it. So I got on the lathe, and I turned this little plug, and what it does, it'll slip in there like so, and that's the same size as this. I'm going to put this in there and squeeze on that nipple and see if I can collapse it. So that's the plan. We'll see if this works. Who knows? We'll give it a shot though, see what happens. So here's the setup. Get you in here where you can see. I'm going to start squeezing on this and try to collapse this this nipple in on itself, and that should pull it loose from the threads inside the head and inside the muffler. This is cast iron, so this could be easily broken. So I don't want to break it if I don't have to, but I do need to get it off of there. So we're going to proceed here and see what happens. Alright, I got you set up on a tripod there. Let me get a bigger wrench. And start doing a little twisting on it here. And I don't know if this goes on there or not, but take a look at it here. Yeah. I see it kind of cracking free from the threads inside the muffler. Put a little more on here. Trying to move the whole engine. Could put an impact on it, but I don't want to get that aggressive. And I think while I've got the squeeze on it, I'm going to put a little juice on it here. Let that work inside the threads now that I got them broken loose a little bit. Wiggle on it some. And probably loosen it up and get another bite on it. Pressure off here. There we go. Bump the camera a little bit. Now I'll stand this thing straight up. Put a little pressure on it now. Got it a little closer to the engine there. It's crushing. It's definitely crushing. Well, I've left it on there for a little bit. Take it off here and reposition it again. Let's get a little bit from this direction, maybe. And let's see, about maybe something like that. It's about where I was before. Not quite. At least breaking the bond between the nipple and the muffler. I see it opening up. Get you a view inside here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is beginning to crack loose. And around here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the bond is being slowly broken. It's good, making a little progress. Yeah, I've been squeezed on it. Let's see if it'll come. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Bring it around here where you can see it here maybe. Kind of cracked it loose. It didn't crack the casting, but pulled it away. Now I'll be able to go in here with a hacksaw and probably cut that loose in there and get it out of that casting. okay in here. It looks pretty good, I believe. Take a look here. No damage. Be able to go in there and scrape out the carbon and clean her up a little bit. It should be pretty good. There wasn't a lot of threads there, was there? Holding it. So lots of carbon though. So let me get you maybe a better look at the muffler here. There we go. It's kind of pulled away. I should be able to go in here now. I might be able to even get the pipe wrench on here and pull this loose. So, success! Yeah, I'm going in here with an angle pick, picking out the threads. They look pretty good. And get the carbon out of them, or I can screw another nipple in there. It should be good. There's some carbon in there I'm picking out. But won't use all the threads anyway. Probably won't use many more than what that old nipple was using, but clean them out nonetheless. A lot of carbon in here. I'll bring you in and let you look at it. Yeah, I'll bring you in here a little closer. You can see those threads. They turned out pretty good. I went and got my wife's toothbrush, and pretty good little tool for cleaning the carbon out of those threads. I hope I can get that thing cleaned up to where she won't notice. We'll let this soak. I got it soaking in some Kroil. Now that I've got it loose and broken loose, I can probably just cut that off and go in there with a hacksaw, cut that out of there and peel that right out, no problem at all. So very cool. All right, continue on with other parts here. Okay, got you over here on the bench here. I've got the Magneto off of it, and I took this end plate off in order to look in here to see the gear, and wanted to see if there's any timing marks on it, and there is, but I'm not sure I'm going to pay attention to them because it was already a tooth off or so. It was a little too far advanced, and I don't want this engine kicking back on me. So anyway, here's your data tag, and I took off some of this green paint that I can get the numbers off of it. So let's pop it up here and take the bail off and pop into this thing. See what we've got here. All right, here's the big horseshoe magnet, and your spark plug wire connects right here. Now there was a resistance plug wire on it, and that shouldn't have been on there. Somebody's put that on there sometime years past. So we're going to replace that. It's just a terminal here, a little nut on it. We're going to replace that, and let's get the magnet out of it here. Now the magnet is held in with a little screw right here. Just loosen that screw, pull that magnet up out of there, and the magnet's in pretty good shape. I mean, it's got a lot of power to it, so we're not going to worry too much about it. And let's take a look at this inside. Let me get you handheld again. Before we take a tour of the inside, here is the condenser that I had to replace. The condenser was weak on it, and it appears to be the original one. And if you guys are working on this American Bosch Type S, this is an H4 condenser. It is rated at 15 microfarads, and it's about 5/8 of an inch in diameter and about 1 3/4 long or so on the body, not counting the screw terminal. And these H4 condensers are available on the web. You know, you can get them on Amazon. I happened to be talking to Mark at Mark's Magnetos, and he's the one that recommended this, and so I went ahead and got it from him while I had him on the phone. It wasn't that much more than the Amazon price, so I went ahead and did that and got it put in there. And let's take a look at how this thing's made here. I was going to hand hold you, but I think I'll just leave you on the tripod, and I can turn this around like this. We'll take a little tour of it here. Here's the points. First thing I did to check this thing was clean the points, used some crocus cloth and polished up the points real well, and set them. They set at 18 thousandths. And then I did continuity testing on the on the coil itself, and also continuity tested the points to make sure they were closing okay, and they were doing fine after I cleaned them. Typically, you clean the points on these things, and that's all you have to do. They'll usually bring them back to life unless you've got, you know, some kind of decay or corrosion or something like that going on in here, which this one looks pretty good. The condenser mounts here, and pretty typical mounting place for it there. So the only thing that I added on this was when I put the magnet back in, you want to check your magnet and make sure you didn't pick up any metal or anything like that, chips or anything metallic that this thing is attracted to itself. And let's see, the mounting, or the screw is right there. You'll find that on the bottom side, and again, that's a great reason to take this thing off, get it off the engine, and this will let you get it out here on the bench and work with it. So I have, before I put this magnet back in, I found that there are a couple of contact points. Well, this is a contact points, but there's a couple of points here where these parts can, if you seat the magnet too deep in there, will touch these parts and ground out the operation of the mags. So what I have done is I just cut a piece of leather and put that in there, just lay it on there like so, and then when I put the magnet in, and I can tell which way the magnet goes by where the screws have been tightening up against it there. So my mounting screw is right there, so let me get up here where I can get down in here and shove this thing down. I can feel it hit the piece of leather there, so I know I'm seated all the way. Push it down all the way and tighten this, just like that, and that is back together with the new condenser. So I can now take a test lead. I'm going to clip it on there on the output of the coil. I'll turn this thing around like this. And I have rigged up a drill with a socket on it where I can get on here and spin it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but let's see here. Let's get against the dark spot there, and let's spin her up here. Look at that. So I've got a good spark. Didn't even shock myself. That's good. But there have been times when I was trying to fix a mag, I wish it would have shocked me. That way I knew I was making some progress. But anyway, that's the look inside of a Bosch Type S. They're a little weird, but boy, it's hot. And I'll snap this cover back on it. This cover only fits on one way. Snap it back on there. We'll get it mounted back up on the engine and see if we can make some smoke.